It is now 11 o'clock. You are tuned into 91.9 FM WMEB Orono, Maine. You are entering the Mystery Hour.
It's me, Roy Michaels, and you are listening to the Mystery Hour. It's currently 11:03, and you are tuned into WMEB 91.9 FM, Orono, Maine. As always, I am broadcasting to you live from the basement of the University of Maine, and I'm not alone, because with me in the studio tonight, I am joined by self-proclaimed paranormal journalist Joseph Follett, our unpaid Mystery Hour intern, Dan Mann, Mystery Hour tech guy, and the rightful heir to the host throne, Connor Spencer, and our historian-in-chief, Evan Lane, and of course, our wild man, Robbie Keane. I'm going to ask you to bear with us a little bit tonight, because right here in the basement of the university, where we meet every week to journey into the unknown together, we run the operation out of two studios. We have Studio A, which is the HQ. It has the soundboard and two microphones, and then Studio B, where I stick the extra baggage, if you will. Our panel of experts, they belong in that room, away from me and Connor usually. But we're having some problems with Studio B, so tonight, on this episode of the Mystery Hour, we have joined together in Studio A as the Studio A team. All right, boys. Tonight, something strange is happening in the dark of the woods. The dead have risen from their graves and walk the earth yet again. We're talking about zombies again, and I just kind of want to kick off our discussion. We've talked about zombies before. We've done zombie survival, but tonight we're going to talk about the zombie genre as a whole, and we're going to revitalize some of our zombie strategies and get back into it. But I sort of want to pass it over to Rob here, who's going to kick off our discussion. Rob, what do you think?
The dead. The living dead. Where does it all come from? What starts it? Well, first you die, and then a disease takes hold of your brain.
Absolutely. No, keep going.
Or a curse. But that's more indigenous to the Western voodoo. But I think we can all agree here that zombies kind of... Joseph.
Yes, we can agree that zombies. Yep. So, who has got any ideas for surviving a zombie apocalypse?
Well, I think we should start where we left off last time, and that was the rule of threes. What was that all about, the rule of thrice? I remember I had a hard time sort of wrapping my mind around the concept.
Well, why don't you tell me, Roy? I feel like you should have studied.
There are three things that you need to live, and this is absolutely true in a zombie apocalypse.
Yep.
You need water.
Yep.
Food.
Correct.
And love?
No.
No love.
Is that? It's actually food, water, and
And
shelter.
milk. Shelter.
Yep.
What about sleep? I think you need some sleep.
Evan, first of all, you're gonna have to speak into
Yeah,
a mic for people to hear you.
I just asked if this was a pretty basic question. I mean, most humans need shelter, food, and water.
Yeah,
so
but
I feel like we have a bigger list than this. Sorry, folks.
the rule
It's
of...
actually
Okay.
back off, Roy. The rule of threes is for any extremely dangerous scenario. For example, you can live 3 days without shelter in an extreme scenario. I think it's 3 weeks without food, and then 3 days without water. So it's just kind of a way to prioritize what you need. Yeah.
But what else do you need in a zombie apocalypse? Is weaponry essential, or can you just sort of play hide and seek the entire time?
I don't. Oh, Evan.
You gotta be quicker to that mic, boy.
Well, Roy, I just found a Center for Disease Control and Prevention blog site that has a specific list of things you need for a zombie apocalypse.
Specifically a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, it's
Wait.
from the CDC, which is kind of
Why
crazy.
is the CDC looking into that?
I don't know, but I'll just run down through the list. It's not very long. We've got water, we've got food, we've got medications, tools and supplies, sanitation and hygiene, clothing and bedding, important documents, and then first aid supplies.
Yeah, I mean...
What are you saying, Roy?
Just pass it to you. I'm trying to solve a mystery right now. I apologize.
Ooh, a sub-mystery. That's fun.
Yes.
Now, we were talking about this before the show. How dangerous is it to defecate during the zombie apocalypse?
I'd say
I
it's
think-
pretty dangerous, but yeah, pass
I
it
think
to
Robbie's
Rob.
got one for this.
Our wild man, he's been in the woods a lot doing this type of thing in a hostile environment. Tell us what you know, Rob.
Well, I don't know about a hostile environment. That's a good question, fielded from Joseph. You got to look out when you're at your most. You got to look out when you're at your most vulnerable, and as embarrassing as it is, that's one of those times when you're in the woods and maybe you need to defecate with one or two friends. So, the only way to take care of this is to bring someone with you to kind of keep an eye out while you kind of do your own thing. Try and only do it with your back to a wall or maybe two walls, so you only have one area where something could come and attack you.
Yeah, another thing we mentioned before the show about the going poop thing with the zombie apocalypse is
defecation.
No, pooping. You've got your pants down, and you're not going to be running anywhere on the fly, right? It's going to take you a few moments to pull your pants up, right? So it's dangerous. You're smiling at me like
Yeah, no,
you're
but
not
what's-
taking it seriously.
No, just get to no. This is vital information. What's your point?
I don't know.
Well, I would like to point out that I already have one pair of pants like this, but you really need a flap on your rear. So if you're in that situation, you don't have to take the pants down. You just unbutton the flap, you do your business, and then you button it back up. You're all set.
Yeah, I suggest you actually kind of have a ripcord, similar to like a kill switch that you'd wear on your wrist, like while riding a jet ski or a speedboat. That you can, it's on a little bracelet, right, and it goes down to your flap. Okay, so if you lift your arm in just the right way, it rips it open. You can get on, we don't really have to get specific here, but you can just get on with it and survive and go out and get those valuable resources needed to survive the zombie apocalypse.
One more thing when it comes to pants and defecation. Let's say you're not that prepared. Do you think it's better to take the time to pull your pants up, or is it better to just ditch them and come back from them later, or just find a new pair?
I think
Pull your pants up. I think it's faster to pull your pants up than to take them off, right? And you've got that struggle around the legs.
You'd be surprised.
You want to have a contest
Oh,
after
yeah.
the show?
Yes.
Okay. I think depending on the kind of bathroom that you're in, it could be an advantage because if it's like an outhouse, you could jump in and maybe mask your smell. Robbie?
I'm going to move on to another point, but zombies can't smell reportedly, so that wouldn't be a problem. So I'm going to struggle here to kind of clean the radio waves and go on to another topic here.
Wait, speaking of radio waves, can someone please give me a call at 207-581-2339? That's 581-BEEF. To let me know if you can hear the static that I am hearing as well, or if it's just in my head. Rob?
Well, Roy, it's not the first time we've heard of the static in your head, so that's all right.
You promised me you wouldn't talk about that on my radio show.
You told me, so, well,
okay.
That's all there is to that.
My professor.
So this whole kind of episode is about how to survive and how to prepare for, a zombie apocalypse. That's why you're listening to late night paranormal radio.
Maybe, or you're just driving along and you're flicking through stations. You want to hear, maybe some underground cuts, some like indie rock, some blues, some deep psychedelic, but instead you have paranormal radio. Rob, continue.
That's right, that's us. So, to start out, we should start with the prevention stage of the zombie packing, which what I've heard is Evan.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot about prevention, I think. Let's hope, right? All right, so prevention. I think the basic thing is once you start to see the outbreak, you have to squash the outbreak immediately. So that's the first step. Once you get one zombie, it's got to go.
Yeah, and you have to be careful, though. You want to make sure you have a zombie before you squash it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got to squash it. It's the basic thing. If you don't do that, they're going to multiply. And at that point, it's just going to be, a huge pain.
And how do zombies multiply?
They bite each other. Infect each other.
Each other?
Are you implying that zombies can do math? Is that what's happening right now? Is that what you're implying, Robbie?
I don't think that's true based on the lore of zombies that I subscribe to, which is the Romero canon set forth in the Dead films.
Right. Okay. All right. I just want to clarify things for the audience.
Yeah, always good to do that.
Roy, do you prefer your zombies walking or running?
Well, if I were in a survivor type situation, I would absolutely prefer a slow zombie. I do see the merit in a running zombie, though, and especially in a survival situation, because it would force me to, improve my cardio, become more fit, more athletic. I'm very lazy in reality. I don't run. I have asthma. But in a zombie apocalypse with fast zombies, I will start doing that. And I think that could be helpful. Just not for myself, but for my soul as well. But in films and in real life, I would prefer slow zombies. Just going back to that Romero canon with Night of the Living Dead, can't beat the slow zombies. Well, you can. That's why they're good.
You mentioned you have asthma, Roy. How much of
I never said that.
Could you give us an example?
Yeah, you did.
What?
How much of a hindrance do you think that would be in the zombie apocalypse? Do you think you'd have a hard time getting your inhaler?
Yeah, well, I haven't used my inhaler in about 3 months or so, but I would actually keep it a secret if I were in a survival group, because I don't want them to think that I'm the weakest link in the chain. I want to be on the forefront of my group. I want to be out scouting.
They might think you're the strongest, though. You might just be. They might think you're juicing.
Well, I think for me it's a lot like training with weights, and when I go a long period of time without my inhaler, when I finally use it again, I am just a superhuman, for lack of a better term, and that could be helpful in the zombie apocalypse if I rationed my doses for when I needed them most. Quick PSA: don't do that if you're like me.
Well, don't do that if you're like me.
Yeah, Connor has a point, and pass that mic to him right away. Connor, you should need it.
I've got a question, a simple question for all of you. Can zombies climb ladders?
I've seen it happen in Dawn of the Dead, the second of the Dead trilogy. But what do you think, Rob?
1 in every 3.
1 in every 3. That seems a little bit...
No, it's 1 in 10.
I think you got your facts wrong. Can you pass it to Evan, please?
I think it's 1 in 10. I'm pretty sure, but
And-
I'm not positive about that.
Do you mind citing your source?
Yeah, I think that's the Zombie Survival Guide.
That's the plebeian line of thinking.
What's your source, Rob? What's your source?
Many years watching.
Many subreddits, 4chan posts. Pass it to Connor. I think you had a point.
Well, what makes the difference between a zombie that can climb a ladder and the ones that can't? Are they just smarter somehow?
That's the one that gets you.
What's that?
That's the one that gets you. You put up ladders so you and your team can get to elevation quickly, and you assume that the zombies, they can't figure it out. You think they'll just shamble on over and lose their balance and fall backwards. Or I'm going to reference Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers here, the Battle of Helm's Deep. If you are on top and you see a zombie coming up, you can kick it down. So in that situation, you feel like you have much power and control. But then, that one zombie that shambles the right way and kind of scissor walks with his arms and legs up the ladder to you is the one that kills you.
Well, that makes sense, but I'm just wondering if you think it's that they have enough muscle intact to climb or enough intelligence intact to climb.
I would say that it starts with the muscle, okay?
Okay.
So in the beginning stages of the apocalypse, they're not decaying flesh yet. They're mostly put together, and they might be able to climb up. But I think the act of climbing itself actually builds neural pathways within the zombies, and they become more intelligent over time and maybe develop... Yeah, Rob?
So you're saying more muscular human beings that become zombies are a bigger threat to us?
Absolutely. I think if you were to surround yourself with a group of survivors, you should surround yourself with a group similar in stature to that of the Mystery Hour. That way, when people start turning, and believe me, they will, you will be able to fight them off more quickly and efficiently.
Interesting. Well, do you think... So do you think it would be possible in a zombie apocalypse for maybe a government to start keeping these stronger human beings in enclosed maybe camps?
That's a tough question. I think Connor has an ideology toward
Yeah, I've been a
that.
big supporter of beefcake concentration camps for a while now. Put all the strong people in designated zones in case of the zombie apocalypse. You never know what's going to happen, right?
That's not...
Maybe concentration
That's not
camp isn't the
good.
right term for it.
Stop saying it. Don't do it.
I would like to point out Connor's probably saying that because he's very much a beta male.
Enough
trying
with
to-
the harshness, okay? We have to stay together if we're
hold
gonna...
on.
I'll let you finish your point because this is an open forum of free ideas.
Well, this has to do with the beta male mentality, sort of. Long time
Can you
listener
tie
to
it
the
to
show.
zombie apocalypse?
Yeah. Can you hold on while I do that, please?
I guess.
I deserve to be respected. Long time listener to the show, our biggest fan, John McCullough. He sent me a text asking, out of us, who would be bitten first? And he said he would say Evan. Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
Definitely.
Robbie, say definitely. Who is our weakest link, and how can we protect them the best?
Well, I think Evan would be the first one to get bit because he, he's really strong, but he kind of lacks in other areas. And I think he would try and fight a zombie immediately. Like, he would just try and lift it up and crush it beneath his strong arms.
He
But-
is very freight trainy. Like once he
Right.
gets going, it's hard for him to stop.
And he would get bit that way first. Just trying to be a hero. You're
But
a
he,
hero.
Yeah, in a good way. He does.
But a fool.
He does jog a lot though. So that's how he could. Do you not jog anymore? Why don't you hop on this mic? Let me pass.
I mean,
it off to you.
I see his mom and him jog by my house sometimes. So I think he does, right?
You lucky boy, you.
Yeah, you are lucky, Connor. Yeah, I don't really know what to say to that. I mean, I guess it's a compliment. I don't know.
I have a kind of switch gears here. I have a
Yeah.
dark question, like
What's
a
the
deep,
dark question?
question I'd like to just ask you. So, essentially, here's the question. Everyone's thought it. If in a zombie apocalypse, I'm asking the four of you. If in the zombie apocalypse, let's say like your best friend, like me, gets infected. So you got me. I'm walking around. I want to eat
Kill
you.
him.
I'd put you down.
That was the question.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
I thought you just meant you'd be there
No. What would you do?
if you were there.
What if I was bit but not
down.
infected yet?
Where were you?
I mean, yeah, what if I was bit and not a zombie yet? Still alive.
where were you? Yeah, were you bit? Were you bit on the leg, hand, neck, nose,
In the neck.
neck? I'd probably slap you around a little bit and then put you out of your misery.
Is this a 28? Is this a 28 days later kind of infection,
I don't like that.
or like what's the incubation period? How long do you have?
What's the incubation period of a zombie infection? That's a great,
Yeah, in this
great
instance.
question. About 48 hours.
About 48 hours in this case. Yeah, I'd let you live for about 47 hours and 59 minutes.
Thank you. That's really kind.
Yeah, well, I mean, because I'm gonna get as many pickled eggs out of you as I can before you go. You know, just so everyone knows, we all had pickled eggs before the show, and we're really pumped up.
No
and they
one
were
needs to
delicious.
know that.
Yeah.
They
No
all
one
need
needs
to know it.
that.
All sharing one mic. Is
I need
really
society to
not
accept
good.
me. Okay, that's not how they're gonna do it.
Yeah, I never realized how much of our show was based on just instantaneously saying things, because without that, it's really hard to do the show. And we have to like move the mic between each other.
It becomes really problematic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we get to get our faces really close to one another, so that's cool.
Yeah, probably.
It would not be good though if one of us was a zombie, because we'd get our face bit.
Should we all be? Yeah. Don't.
Yeah, probably too much of our show is based around that concept, but right now it is 11:24, which means it's time for our first break. We're going to be playing you a promo for a show you just heard. But anyway, I'm Roy Michaels, and you are listening to the Mystery Hour on WMEB 91.9 FM, Orono, Maine. It is 11:25.
Take a little trip to the planetarium. Fridays 9 to 11 p.m. with me, Ringo. Playing all things spacey, psychedelic, and strange here on WMEB 91.9 Orono, Maine.
Welcome back to the Mystery Hour. I'm Roy Michaels. You are listening to 91.9 FM WMEB, Orono, Maine. It's 11:27, and I hate to tell you this, but tonight the dead have risen from the grave, and the only question that remains is how we put them back into the ground. So tonight on the Mystery Hour, we are safe in our bunker here in the basement, and we are refining the most prime zombie survival strategies to broadcast over the airwaves and hopefully help you out. But we're also going to talk about some zombie horror movies, and I just want to toss a question at the group quickly. What is your favorite zombie horror film? You guys, you have to answer, because if we're silent for too long, the dead air ghoul comes out of the board and strangles me, slaps me around, I cry.
Probably 28 Days Later.
Yeah, 28 Days Later is a pretty good one.
I prefer zombies that just run, but that movie's just like spooky enough. It pulls it off for me.
Yeah, it's much more like exhilarating to watch a zombie film when the zombies can run, because it makes the danger more palpable. I realized that in that situation I would probably die faster. It adds to the suspense.
Yeah. Evan? Favorite zombie movie?
It's a really good question, because I feel like not many of them are that good.
You want to pass?
Yeah, I'm gonna pass.
That's a good point.
Or Cynic.
I'm gonna go with Return of the Living Dead.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very kooky.
100%.
It's good stuff.
Let me
Those
tell
graveyard punks.
you. Graveyard punks.
Yeah.
Listen, you graveyard punks out there. I don't know.
All right, on to Dan.
Just keep doing you.
My favorite might actually be the movie Shaun of the Dead. At first, I kind of thought it's just a funny movie, but the more I watch it, the more I think it's actually how a zombie apocalypse would really happen. Like, it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse, and you're trying to make the best of the situation to keep everybody calm, but it's just not working out for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a very, like, even though it's a comedy, there's a very human element in the film, and I think that's a sort of a nice theme to explore in the context of a zombie apocalypse.
I'd probably say Night of the Living Dead.
My man.
My man.
Yeah, I mean.
You need the mic to talk, Connor.
Second favorite, I think it might be Chicken Run. If you know what I mean. It makes sense. You've got the chickens with the heads cut off, right? But they're still alive, and that's the Living Dead. On to Robbie.
That's a good point.
What?
So
I don't think those chickens' heads were cut off in that movie.
now
All
that
right.
we've
Well, hold on.
Oh,
Wait for me now, please. All right. here
hurry
we-
on now.
I will. I just had a really quick second honorable mention, which was Call of Duty World at War, Nazi Zombies. It's not a movie. I was it's not a movie. It's not a movie, but I was just the right age at the time where when that came out, and played a whole bunch of it.
Oh, it's your favorite game.
It's a lot of fun.
I know they can't hear me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's a great way to prepare for an impending zombie apocalypse. I think the CDC should run World at War centers where you show up and you play the stupid game. Anyway, back to zombie films. Do you think that the genre is as dead as the primary antagonists? Like, is the zombie genre finished? Because I think the market is completely oversaturated. Someone get this microphone away from Rob. Somebody talk to me.
I can take it.
All right, pass the damn man.
Okay, so the question was, are zombie movies kind of becoming old news, basically?
Yeah, in the 21st, like in the 2010 decade, the 2010s, the one we are currently in, there has been more zombie movies made and released than any time in history.
I don't necessarily think that the genre, basically, zombie movies, I don't think it's particularly dead. I do think, though, that they would have to come up with some completely different plots, new sort of situations to put people in, like surviving on a boat, you know? That's what I would do.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm not sure. It definitely is getting old, and it will one day be all just remakes of Night of the Living Dead. That's what's going to happen. We're doomed.
We are doomed.
I haven't seen a really well done whole like world apocalypse takeover zombie movie from like almost like a, you know, not a third person perspective, but even further out, like War of the Worlds. I haven't seen a movie done well in the zombie category like that. I'd like to.
The Tom Cruise War of the Worlds. Just
Orson Welles.
Orson Welles. Okay.
I feel like we could quickly put together a plot through a little game I like to call Complete That Sentence. You know what I'm
Alright,
saying? We're going to
okay,
start with
I'm
Robbie,
ready.
right?
Hold on, I have a sound cue for this.
You got a sound cue?
I don't know if I can complete my sentence.
You don't need to. All right, so Rob, you say something like, it starts off, they're on a boat and, right? And then it goes to Evan.
I don't know how to end that.
No, you don't, no.
You make up again.
Evan, okay, Joseph, you start.
All right. Okay.
All right. There's 3 people in a treehouse when suddenly, Dan.
One of the people falls out of the treehouse, breaks his ankle, and then
They are swarmed by zombie bears, and then
They have to fight them off, but they can only use their fingernails. And then
they lived happily ever after.
Yeah, we can't do this normally. I don't know why you think we could do it on air. It's a hit. It never ends well. It never ends well. And
are we still doing it? Okay, no, it
no,
sounds like a hit story to me, and Mystery Hour.
original production.
Yeah, that's what it is, an original Mystery Hour production.
I would like to argue that the zombie genre died in 1985, just because that year we saw Reanimator, Day of the Dead, and Return of the Living Dead. So it was a high point, and I just don't see how you can come back from that. Also, that year we saw The Stuff, Fright Night, Friday the 13th, Part 5, and A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. But where were you with your little game?
Oh, I was just I was gonna say it brings up a good point. Zombie animals. What do we? Zombie animals? Is that you said? What do we do about that? How do we contend with zombie animals? I feel like they're much more vicious than zombie people. Connor?
Well, I think first, can they infect humans?
Yeah, I suppose so. If they carry the the virus.
A lot of scientific research has gone into this. I guess you have to go through the same process as avoiding human zombies, right? Basically.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's kind of...
Listen, the bubonic plague was carried on the backs of rats.
That's
and
true.
I think they might be able to carry the zombonic plague on their furry haunches.
That's true. I don't really know what to say with that. Robbie?
I left you a lot to work with.
yeah, it certainly did. Since we're talking about zombies tonight, a really quick zombie survival tip for everybody is to stay quiet when you're in the woods. Travel light. Restrict your parties to 4, maybe 3 people. Use light weaponry like bow and arrows or crossbows. Bring food. Bring water. Bring safety blankets, the ones that crinkle really loud. Also, pack light and pack well before the apocalypse. You should all have a backpack packed at this point. You should all have a backpack packed with cans of dried food.
I have school books packed in my backpack.
Throw those out. You don't need that. You don't need that kind of knowledge. All you need is more food, more water, and some ammunition. Maybe a pocket knife. Bring a pot. Bring some pots. Bring pots. Bring some.
Pots and pans. Yeah, cooking utensils. That's actually a good point that I never thought about, because that way you can forage for literally anything. Like, you could go into a store, find some instant rice, and you are just all set for days.
Exactly. And you should definitely have like a life straw in there to purify your water. Water is definitely going to be the most important thing. Now, what else you gonna? What else should you bring? Dan?
Definitely.
Hot pockets.
Yeah, if you got
I'm
Hot
sorry. I'm just trying to
Pockets-
joke around like you guys.
Never mind. Then don't bring them.
We're funny.
Well, I know if
This is serious.
If you want hot pockets, I can know a guy on campus. His name's Casey Pizza Bites, and he'll hook you up. Just so you know. But anyway, Dan Man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, always bring a fresh change of undergarments. You always want to have those clean, fresh underwear.
Especially socks.
Yes, socks are essential as well.
Yeah, I disagree with that. Don't worry about your underwear at all. You have much higher priorities while you're out there. You need to keep your family members alive.
Robbie, I have seen your underwear. You should probably worry about your underwear more often.
Enough with the personal attacks. What does this say? Debate? Whoa. But anyway,
Yeah.
I had a point.
I think pets is a good option. Yeah, bring a pet. Bring a dog. Bring a dog into the
pets
zombie
are.
apocalypse.
Pets are a good option.
Good companionship, and if it's trained well, then you won't have an issue with zombies, you know?
Yeah, if you want a pet now, head on down to the Old Town Animal Shelter. There's lots of pets there in need. So anyway, moving on.
No, not moving on. Not moving on.
We're going to be talking about the Old Town Animal Shelter some more, huh?
No, I was actually going to tell Evan. I don't think bringing pets is a good idea, and all you need to do is look at what happened in I Am Legend when his
I Am
dog
Legend
died.
isn't about zombies.
It's not. It's about vampires.
Yeah,
but,
exactly. So it has nothing to do with what we're
Right,
talking
but
about
you
right
bring
now.
a pet, your pet will probably die defending you, and then you have to deal with that.
So Roy is, I think, telling me that there is no Old Town Animal Shelter. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, go to the Bangor Humane Society if I can sincerely plug something in this segment of the show. Yeah, go to the Humane Society.
Joseph says there is an Old Town Animal Shelter.
There is an Old Town Animal Shelter.
Oh.
I apologize, Old Town
It's
Animal
by the
Shelter.
airport.
Really?
Oh, well, there we go. I mean, either one will work,
Actually, I
Bangor or
think-
Old Town.
I think Keith, one of our co-hosts, his aunt works at the show. Not the show. At the shelter.
Oh, okay.
Really? Is the Old Town one a no-kill shelter?
Oh,
I believe the Bangor one is.
that's good.
Yeah, it is good. Unless they turn into zombies, and then there's going to be a bunch of zombie animals running around. But
Anyway, back to zombie pets.
we're on zombie pets right now.
Yeah,
Back to what you're talking about.
yeah. Anyway, I think it's a great idea. You'd have companionship.
It's a good thing you took the mic for that, Evan.
I would like to say, though, not to spoil anything, about I Am Legend, starring Will Smith, directed by... Yeah. So the Will Smith film, I Am Legend, if there's one lesson you can take away from that sequence with the dog at the end, the one that nobody likes to watch, is that if you have a pet, spoiler alert, be prepared to put it down when the time comes.
Yeah, just in general, your pet's probably going to die before you do. So just get ready for that.
I would like to go back to Romero Zombies, though, because in the Day of the Dead remake, it's a little bit of a twist on the Romero Zombies. They're faster this time around, but they do not eat animals, so the survivors were actually able to put on a little satchel on a pup and send it through a crowd of zombies with resources to get between two groups of survivors. It was a little messenger dog. That's a great idea.
Yep.
It's unplugged.
Robbie, didn't you have a question for us about the weapons we might use, our favorites?
I wouldn't say our favorites, because I wouldn't enjoy my time in the zombie apocalypse. Killing my friends, or rather, putting them down when they're already zombies, so they're already dead. So I wouldn't really be killing them. Not you guys. Anyways, so in the zombie
Wait, hey,
apocalypse,
Rob, hey. What's that on your sleeve? I see kind of a red mark that you've been
It's cranberry juice.
What is? No, let me look at that.
Right here.
Were you bit?
No,
Rob.
it's cranberry
No,
juice.
Rob, were you bit? No, like. Rob, show it to us.
No, it's cranberry juice.
Guys. I think Rob's been bit.
No, I haven't been bit. That,
Look out!
Okay.
that's how easy it can be for someone to like blame someone for being bit, and it's crazy. Anyways, so the weapons you want to use during the zombie apocalypse, you're gonna need a handheld weapon. You're gonna need a mid-range weapon. You're gonna need a long, like a heavy weapon. You know, right? So like a crossbow. Usually, what you want to look for is something silent. So what would you guys use for a handheld? And I might have an idea whether that's a good idea or not a good idea.
I would use a big, rugged leather boxing glove and just punch zombies' faces in.
So the object would be to destroy the brain, because if you destroy the brain of a zombie, it can no longer attack you. That's how you end it.
That is, of course, if we subscribe to Night of the Living Dead, Romero canon, because in the film Return of the Living Dead, if you destroy the brain, chop them to pieces, they still live no matter what. That way you just have to sort of like chop up a zombie, bundle them up into a net, and just throw it in the river. But yeah, for the sake of simplicity, let's assume you destroy the brain.
Yeah, I think. Well, I definitely hope that that's the way that they end. Seems like it would save a lot of trouble. But what do you think, Evan?
I think I'd pick an ice pick just because it would go directly to the brain, and it would just be a quick little cleave, and there you go.
Of course, we're putting emotion out of it and only going for cold, hard logic, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
of course.
Always. I would go with Babe Ruth's antique mahogany baseball bat. Why are you laughing?
It's original.
I'm just saying it's got to be a great baseball bat, right? Okay.
I have one clarification question. Is it a one-handed weapon, or is it just...
It doesn't matter.
Okay, doesn't matter.
Okay, it's just melee, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Dan?
Yeah, I think I would. Well, first of all, how soft are these zombies? Are they like,
It's all zombies.
what?
Every zombie.
It depends on what stage of the apocalypse you're in, but let's assume maybe late game,
last you.
past the
Okay.
initial outbreak.
If it's later, we're talking some soft-headed zombies. I would actually just go for a golf club.
Oh wow!
Alright.
Yeah, it goes similar to the ice pick right at the brain, but it's longer. And this way, when I'm done, I can just go back to playing my game of golf.
That's really just a fun idea, Dan.
I would like to ruin this conversation by bringing up a point that I brought up last time, and it's my distaste for melee weapons in this situation, because we don't know if the disease spreads through contact of fluid. So if you say you take your Babe Ruth antique mahogany baseball bat and you wind it up and hit a zombie with it, its eyes are gonna come flying out, its head's gonna be smashed to bits, and there's going to be juices everywhere, and that could get in your nose, that could get in your mouth hole, that could get in your eye holes, get in your ears, and it could infect you. So yeah, my point is I would not use a short-range weapon, and I kind of want to take a stab at Evan's ice pick. I'd be afraid that you'd go in and you'd hit the brain, but you'd maybe get stuck, and the zombies around you would get you. You'd have to maybe form a Roman phalanx.
Definitely phalanx.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, no, I get your point, but if you're strong enough, you can just pull the ice pick out.
So not you. My weapon of choice would be a very classic, traditional-looking World War I trench knife / spike combo, and it's basically a knife with a hilt, but at the end of the handle is a spike that they would use in the trench during trench warfare. That way, it's silent enough you could use it in the front, but you could also bop them on the head and cave in their skulls that way.
Oh, okay. I actually, if I were to use a melee weapon, it would be just a shovel, because I have something to fight the zombies with, but also something to bury my friends and plant my crops.
That's good. Shovels are quite liable to get stuck into things, though.
Not if you use the broadside.
I was thinking some sort of makeshift spear, because you can always replace the head, and you can always replace the pole, and it gives you that range, so you don't get the fluids on you.
Range, yeah, that's a great idea.
And you can just stab them right in the head.
And you could wear gloves, so you would avoid calluses from yanking it out of zombie
Yeah, and splinties.
and splinties. Yeah, you don't want that.
I have also definitely entertained the idea of a nail gun kind of scenario, or maybe a dual wield nail gun type thing. They are pretty loud, but they're not that loud, right? It's just like a big staple. But I think that would actually accomplish your goal. You don't think so? You don't think it would shoot in?
Now, as far as range weapons, and I'll pass this around, I'm gonna go with Desert Eagle. They're not that great, but they're cool, right? And a hunting rifle with a scope. So, Roy?
Yeah, I would like to sort of piggyback on your idea and propose a boreal forest eagle. You wear it on your arm, and it's a living organism that at your command flies through the woods and attacks your target, but can also be a messenger and a best friend.
So you choose an eagle over a falcon for this situation?
Just to, during the apocalypse, our country would obviously fall apart, and I would like to keep the torch of patriotism burning through my choice of a bald eagle sidekick. His name would be Crackers. Rob?
I think you're once again delving into dangerous territory with a pet. I mean, at some point that thing's going to get, viciously infected, and then it's going to die.
Yeah,
horribly.
actually, we don't want the zombie eagle flying around, do we?
There'll be too many of them already.
But anyway, it is 11:49, which means it's time for our second and final break. I'm Roy Michaels. You're listening to the Mystery Hour on WMEB 91.9 FM, Orono, Maine. We'll be back in just a moment.
Let's go inside the mind of a 10-year-old.
I should have worn earrings today.
Buckle up, Sarah.
Michaela's got like the best earrings.
Sarah, buckle up.
I wish my name was Michaela.
We're not hitting the road until you buckle up, honey.
Oh yeah, seatbelt. I wonder if there's pizza at school today.
It can be tough getting through to kids, but it's your job to make sure they're wearing their seatbelts. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
Michaels. It is 11:51, and you are listening to the first, only, and number one late night paranormal talk show right here on WMEB 91.9 FM, Orono, Maine, Fridays at 11 p.m. till midnight, and on Facebook at facebook.com/Maine Mystery Hour. Tonight we are discussing the living dead. And much of what we know about the living dead, much of the lore that exists in movies and pop culture, comes from a film called Night of the Living Dead by George Romero. It sort of set the tone for the monster, if you will. Before that, zombies in films were usually the cause of a supernatural force. An example of this would be Voodoo and White Zombie. They're just an obedient slave to their master who has a command over them. But Night of the Living Dead introduced the idea of a zombie spread through disease. and also zombies that can be killed by blows to the head, and of course the slow movement. And it's strange that every zombie film after that, to some degree, has emulated Night of the Living Dead. And at first, you would think that it is direct plagiarism, but actually, it's not. I'm going to quote my source here, and that's the website Plagiarism Today, even though I wanted to leave it out for the purposes of irony. But the Night of the Living Dead, that became sort of the schematics for the zombie genre because of a copyright flub. The original title of the movie was Night of Anubis. Okay? And nobody but George Romero thought that was cool or even knew what that was. So it was then changed to Night of the Flesh Eaters. And the first print was made. But close to the release of the film, they realized that Flesh Eaters was a movie already, so they decided to change the name to the famous Night of the Living Dead. But when they changed the title card, the distributor forgot to include the copyright notice on the final print. And that's not much of an issue today, but in 1968, when the film was released, that sent it straight into the public domain. So it became a property for everybody to use and sort of allowed other filmmakers to come along and use the same concept of zombie in their own films. And consequently, like, despite the film like raking in up to $30 million at the box office, the producers did not see any of that money. It sort of just went away to other forces, and it's kind of sad. But they did start a very successful trilogy with Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead. So there's no harm done there. And the public domain issue of Night of the Living Dead, sort of the reason why you see it on like every horror bargain DVD. Is just thrown around. It's slapped on like every disc. Like I believe Shrek 2, it's a bonus feature. I don't know how that worked out. But everybody has the rights to it. And it is kind of interesting. The film was co-written by Romero and a man named Russo, John Russo, and he actually retained part of the rights to the Living Dead portion of the name. So Romero had the Night of, Day of, and Dawn of portion, so he made those movies, and then around 1985, Russo made his own version, Return of the Living Dead. But I just want to kind of give it back to you now so I can drink some water in the corner over here. Connor, you were talking about long-range firearms to survive the zombie apocalypse?
I was, but I was about to turn it over to Joseph.
I was actually turning it over to Dan for shelters.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Did you want to skip ahead of shelters? Or did you want to finish talking about long range weapons? All right, Robbie.
Yeah, I can talk to you about some long range weaponry if you'd like. You know, don't let me drone on for too long, but I think you could start out with maybe a longbow, like a Two Rivers longbow, something that's almost the length of a man, that could fire up to 200 yards accurately. We could go with one of those, or you could go with a crossbow that could do the same exact thing with less skill and less strength. So I might suggest one of those. Long range, you're also looking at maybe a hunting rifle, perhaps with a silencer attached. There's no possible way.
Subsonic ammo.
Yeah, but that's a little bit loud. That would attract a lot of attention.
What would attract a lot of attention?
The bang of the gun would attract a lot of attention. Even a silenced gun would attract a lot of attention. It's also be quite difficult to nail a headshot in real life. That's a lot harder.
But in The Walking Dead, they get headshots all of the time.
It's true, but that is a show, and all the killings on that show are rather stylized. In life, in reality, it'd be a lot more brutal, a lot more difficult, a lot more unyielding.
Okay.
Yep. So, other long-range items could be Ebola. You could get really good with Ebola.
Ebola? Wait, what?
Ebola. So it's just a type of weapon that you spin around on a string, You can whip it.
Oh, I've seen that before. Yeah, like it swings around. It could swing around their necks and sort of like take their heads off as it tightens.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Yep.
So Rob, now that we have you on the mic, I do believe this is your last broadcast of the Mystery Hour. Would you like to give a speech?
The day will come.
The day will come. Let's not say last for now.
This day we fight. This Men of the Wild. I'm going to New Zealand, by the way. It's Lord of the Rings speech. Yep, I'm gonna go see if there are any zombies over there.
Can we just give Rob a round of applause here?
Yeah,
You've
Rob,
been great. We're gonna miss you.
Rob's he's had some of the best moments on our show. He's the star in all of our social media.
He's our wild man.
And I think the show is just going to collapse in on itself after he leaves. So we are going to miss him very much. We are gonna leave a void. Let's all just touch Rob. Put your hands on his shoulders. Come over here.
Oh, I can't quite reach, but
just I got his kneecap. Yeah.
Oh man,
Rob, can you give us that wild man grunt one last time? Wait, hold on. I'm gonna pass you the mic.
Good idea. Good idea. I'm not gonna do it though.
No, why?
What about the list?
One last time. One last time.
Rob,
one last time. Come on.
One last time. One last time.
Come on.
I've never even done it once on air.
Yeah, yes, you have. I have it on tape. On cassette, Robbie.
Connor's speaking right now, but nobody can hear him.
And there it is.
That was that.
Too wild.
We did that.
Now, Dan, did you want to talk about shelters?
It needs to be very brief.
Yeah,
man.
I don't know if we really have time for that.
Don't go above your pay grade here.
Well, my goal is go on a boat, right? You grow stuff on the boat, you get solar panels, you're all set. You go fishing, distill water, get ocean water, you use sunlight, evaporate it, and then it goes into another container, so you have fresh drinking water. Bam.
What?
Yeah, it's a lot of information at once. Soak it in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hope they had the pen ready.
Yeah, I hope y'all wrote that down because I'm not repeating that.
Yeah. What was that? Water, purified water. Gonna write that down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Connor, why don't you tell people where they can go to listen to the recording so they can get that if they didn't catch it the first time?
You go to youtube.com and like the Mystery Hour, or you can go to our Facebook page, Main Mystery Hour.
That is right, Connor, but right now it is midnight, which means the Mystery Hour has come to a close. I would like to thank Jimmy Ozog for composing several original tracks for use here on the Mystery Hour, even though tonight we sort of overused John Carpenter's Halloween soundtrack. I apologize. I would also like to thank the powers that be at WMEB for making our show possible and helping us grow along the way. And of course, I would like to thank you, the listener, for staying up late with your radios. Hopefully next week we'll have Studio B back in action. We can get back to our normal swing of things and bring you the not optimal production value, but what we had before tonight. And we'll be coming back at you with witchcraft and devil worship next week. But anyway, I was joined tonight by Joseph, Dan, Connor, Evan, and Rob. I'm Roy Michaels. You're just listening to the Mystery Hour on WMEB 91.9 FM or no man. I'll see you next week. And Robo DJs, he'll take care of you. Robo DJs coming on. Sweet dreams.